A billionaire mogul, a hip-hop legend, a man who seemed untouchable, Sean "Diddy" Combs built an empire that defined an era. But right now, in a Manhattan courtroom, that empire is crumbling under allegations so shocking, they've sent ripples through Hollywood. Sex trafficking, racketeering, coerced freak-offs. This isn't just a trial, it's a reckoning. Could Diddy's fall expose a web of secrets involving other stars? I'm John, and today, we're diving deep into the case that's tearing Tinseltown apart. If you're ready for the truth, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because you won't believe what's coming next. Let's get into it. Sean "Diddy" Combs wasn't just a rapper. He was a movement. In the 1990s, he founded Bad Boy Records, launching icons like Notorious B.I.G. and Mary J. Blige. His fashion line, Sean John, and Ciroc Vodka empire made him a billionaire. He was the king of hip-hop, rubbing shoulders with A-listers and shaping culture. But in November 2023, everything changed. His ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, filed a bombshell lawsuit alleging years of physical and sexual abuse. The suit was settled in a day, but it sparked a firestorm. More accusers stepped forward, and by September 2024, Diddy faced federal charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and conspiracy. Was this the fall of a titan, or the exposure of something much bigger? Fast forward to May 2025, and the trial is in full swing. On May 5th, jury selection began, setting the stage for a legal battle that's gripping the nation. The prosecution's case is chilling. They claim Diddy ran a criminal enterprise, orchestrating freak-offs, drug-fueled sex parties where women were coerced into performing sexual acts, often recorded for blackmail. Cassie Ventura's testimony on May 13th and 14th was a turning point. She described a decade of abuse, from physical beatings to being forced into these parties.
Cassie is still on the stand, and we are learning what a true and vile POS he is. We saw text messages that Cassie showed us from the night of the Intercontinental Hotel video, where you'd think he's saying sorry to her, I'm so sorry, I love you. Nope. He's saying, please call me, I have kids, because he's scared that she's gonna report him or something. When she doesn't respond, he actually lies and says, I'm getting arrested. And she doesn't respond until finally she says, I'm unplugging, going to bed, I suggest you do the same. I mean, it's ridiculous and pathetic. We've seen bruises. Cassie took bruises of her mouth that day, which is totally swollen. She has sunglasses on. Then we see pictures of her on a red carpet where she's covering all these different types of bruises. She, oh my gosh, she told us about an instance where she just went out with her friends, one of her gay friends and then her best friend. She came back home, fell asleep on the couch. Diddy burst into her house, screaming at her, getting violent with her, and her friends jumped on his back to get him to stop. And at this point, he's wrestling with Cassie. He wrestles her off of him, throws her against her dresser or the end of her bed, and she has an eyebrow gash where she had to go to an emergency plastic surgeon because she was set to perform at Drake's music festival. I mean, we are seeing so much. Cassie told us that she was expected to perform freak-offs when she had UTIs, and she told us about all the UTIs she had, how painful they were.
The jury watched explicit videos allegedly kept by Diddy, leaving the courtroom in stunned silence. But here's the question: how deep does this go? Were these isolated acts, or part of a larger Hollywood machine?
She told us that she would try to be singing in the studio and she would have mouth sores. And then something that was so disturbing to me on top of everything else was she talked about a fight they had at the Cannes Film Festival where Diddy kicked her off of the boat that they were staying without shoes, without money, without her purse. So she walked over to the staff hotel. She didn't see him until later that night at the Cannes Film Festival. They show us a picture where she looks beautiful, but again, she's covering up bruises. And that night, he is squeezing her leg as hard as he can during this movie premiere. He's glaring at her and she's in pain. And they leave that night, and she moves to another seat to not sit with him. He follows her, and on that flight, he shows her freak-off videos.
Cassie's words painted a harrowing picture. She met Diddy at 19, signed to Bad Boy Records, and soon found herself in a controlling relationship. She testified about being drugged, coerced, and manipulated, with Diddy allegedly using his power to keep her silent. But the defense isn't backing down. They've grilled Cassie, highlighting inconsistencies and questioning why she stayed so long. They've even suggested her motives might be financial. It's a brutal clash of narratives, and the jury's left to decide who's telling the truth.
We saw the defense elicit testimony from Cassie where she admitted to being jealous of Kim Porter and Diddy's relationship. We saw an email from Cassie to Diddy where she basically said, and I'm paraphrasing, she wants to be more than a sexual fantasy to him. And she started this email off by saying, I know you think that you're Bruce Willis, but you're not, because he was on a vacation with Kim Porter and they weren't together at the time. They were with their kids. She was referencing Demi and Bruce. So we saw that. We saw some jealousy. We saw some jealousy also with Gina Hun. And they didn't say her last name. I just know she's a fitness influencer, I think. And there's also been rumor that Gina is the lost victim or survivor that they haven't been able to get in touch with. Don't quote me on that. It's a rumor. It's not fact. We also saw something really interesting. We saw an exchange between Diddy and Cassie where he asks her, they're role playing during these freak offs, and I'm paraphrasing, but he essentially asks her if she's cool with everything, kind of making sure, like, are you comfortable with everything? Kind of like, tell me now if you're not, and she says she is. We also learned about Cassie's relationship with Michael B. Jordan in 2015 when she was in South Africa filming a movie. And they centered a lot of the afternoon around Cassie's drug use and how she hid a lot of her drug use from Diddy so he wasn't aware of a lot of it.
Could Cassie's courage inspire others to come forward? Or will the defense's tactics cast doubt on her story? Cassie isn't alone. On May 12th, a Los Angeles police officer testified about responding to a 2016 incident where Diddy allegedly assaulted Cassie, captured on hotel security footage. A male review manager claimed he was paid to participate in coerced sexual acts, adding weight to the prosecution's case. These testimonies suggest a pattern, but the defense argues they're unreliable, pointing to gaps in evidence and possible ulterior motives. With more witnesses expected, the courtroom drama is only heating up. Who else might take the stand, and what secrets are they carrying? This trial isn't just about Diddy. It's about Hollywood's culture of silence. For years, powerful figures have operated in the shadows, protected by wealth and influence. Think Harvey Weinstein, whose 2020 conviction ignited the hashtag #MeToo.
More fallout from that explosive New York Times report saying that Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein paid off sexual harassment cases for years.
At least one other woman has come forward with a new allegation of improper conduct, with reports some members of his company's board are resigning.
Or R. Kelly, jailed for racketeering and trafficking. Diddy's case feels like the next chapter, but it's raising bigger questions. Are other rappers or executives involved? Social media is ablaze with speculation. The next post, Hollywood Secrets, read, "If Diddy's guilty, half of Hollywood's going down with him." Another user wrote, "This is bigger than one man. It's a system." Is this trial the spark that burns it all down? Legal analyst Jane Rowe told NBC News, "This case could redefine accountability in entertainment. It's not just about Diddy. It's about systemic abuse." Music industry insider John Doe echoed this to AP News, saying, "Artists are watching closely. If Diddy falls, others might face scrutiny. The ripple effects are already visible. Brands like Ciroc and De Leon have cut ties with Diddy, and Bad Boy Records is under a microscope. But here's the kicker. Could this trial expose other stars? Names like Jay-Z or Kanye West have been whispered online, though no evidence links them. What's the truth behind these rumors? The fallout is devastating. Diddy's financial empire is collapsing, with legal fees piling up and partnerships dissolving. His record label, once a powerhouse, faces an uncertain future. Artists signed to Bad Boy, like Janelle Monáe, have stayed silent, while others, like former protege Maze, have hinted at industry corruption on X, Mace's Take. This trial could reshape hip-hop, forcing artists to confront their ties to Diddy. But it's not just about money, it's about power. If Diddy's convicted, will it embolden victims to speak out against other moguls? Or will the industry close ranks to protect its own? Public reaction is a firestorm. On X, some users rally behind Cassie, sharing stories of abuse in the industry. One post, Victim Solidarity, read, "Cassie's bravery is a wake-up call. Believe survivors." Others defend Diddy, citing his legacy and questioning the timing of the allegations. An ex-user, Diddy Defender, wrote, "Why now? Sounds like a setup to me." This divide reflects a broader societal debate. How do we balance justice with due process? And why does it take so long for victims to be heard?
Start with the direct of Sheree Hayes, also known as, quote, the Punisher. Now, he is not technically an escort. He actually worked for a company called Hunkamania, and that would make more sense. Male strippers, exotic dancers, and he also he ran this website, thepunisher.com, which was his own website for his own services, which is strictly dancing for bachelorette parties, etc. Okay, so he described the same, I guess, way that Daniel Phillip described meeting Cassie and Diddy. Cassie called him, said that she wanted his services for a bachelorette party. He showed up at the hotel, which was the Trump Hotel in New York City. And just a side note, I'm on direct, but the defense was like, so you only worked or saw them in New York City. They didn't say work, sorry. They said you only met with them in New York City. And he said, yes, you know what they're getting at. So he said he shows up at the Trump Hotel, and Cassie shows up in a robe, and she says, "It's my birthday. My husband wanted to plan something special for me. So, you know, can you just set the mood here? And can we just make the room sexy and stuff?" And he's like, "Okay, well, how do we do that?" And she handed him a stack of money to do this. And he said later it was $800. He counted it when he went to the bathroom. He comes out, he takes his towel off, and she said, you know, we should start rubbing baby oil on each other. And he actually described seeing bowls of water with baby oil in the water that they used. And then he said that Diddy came out, although he didn't know who Diddy was at the time, and he didn't know it was Cassie either. He came out in something that covers his face, and he could only see his eyes. And he would, you know, direct them as usual, and then masturbate a little bit. Everything that we've heard before, basically. But Cassie and the Punisher, he said that he didn't finish, and Cassie asked him if he wanted to finish. I was unclear if they had intercourse this time. I don't think they did. I missed just a chunk of his testimony, just full disclosure. So the first time, I'm not sure, but he said when I got back in the room, Cassie asked me if I wanted to finish, and I said no. I took more money. They gave me $1,200 more, and I left.
As the trial rolls on, more witnesses are set to testify, possibly former Bad Boy employees or other victims. Each day brings new twists, and the world is watching. Will Diddy walk free, his legacy tarnished but intact? Or will he face a lifetime behind bars, his empire reduced to ashes? And what about Hollywood? Will this trial force real change? Or will it be another scandal swept under the rug? One thing's certain, the truth is out there, and it's closer than ever. Stay with me, because we're not done digging. If this story's got you hooked, don't miss a single update. Subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, and join the conversation in the comments. What do you think about the trial? Who's telling the truth? Share this video with anyone who needs to hear it, and let's keep pushing for answers. I'm John, and I'll be back with more on this case and other stories that matter. Until then, keep questioning, keep watching, and never stop seeking the truth.